Hi friends, welcome back to this third video on zones of selling. In the first video, I talked about how people interact from different zones. Any relationship, anyone that they interact with, there are four zones that they operate from. Mainly the public zone, the social zone, the personal zone and the intimate zone. In my second video, we looked at what is the best way to sell when the customer treats you in public zone. And the best way of selling in public zone is doing a canned detailing or something called as planned persuasion. In the public zone, what we need to keep in mind that we need to be well groomed, we need to be well prepared, and the objective there is to build a rapport, build a relationship and work on interpersonal skills. In public zone, it is important to establish a rapport. In this video, we are going to talk about what is the effective way of selling in social zone. So once you're groomed well, you're well prepared, you do your job constantly, consistently and establish yourself as a professional, the customer invites you into what is known as a social zone. Now he's okay with you doing business. He recognizes that you are someone who's visiting him regularly. It's good to do business with. Every customer, every individual needs, and you are a person with whom he is happy to interact and he's happy to buy goods from. So in social zone selling, what you need to do is you need now to change your style. This planned persuasion, only a monologue kind of detailing, somewhere where you're trying to sell yourself is not enough. There's a simple way in which you can understand whether the customer accepts you in social zone. Look at him, he will smile at you, his body language would be relaxed, he would probably even extend a hand to do a shake hand. He would inquire, he would welcome you in. Some of them would go on to recognize your name or tell you which company you represent from. So if you get these symbols, if the doctor accepts you and likes you and he's accepted you as a professional, you are comfortably there in social zone. Once you are in social zone, if you continue doing what is known as canned detailing or planned persuasion, the customer is going to get bored out of you and move you out. This is the place where you now need to get into building a dialogue with the customer, getting into an interaction with the customer. All these years, when I do selling skills programs for multiple of my clients or whichever companies that I've worked for, the entire focus was about helping people make transition from this planned persuasion to what is known as interactive selling. Once you recognize that the customer has accepted you in the social zone, you need to change your style of selling for social zone. Personal zone style of planned persuasion will not work. When you are in a social zone and the customer has accepted you in the social zone, you need to go and interact with the customer. So there are various names with which this style of selling, which is suitable for social zone, can be called. It can be called interactive selling, it can be called professional selling, scientific selling, evidence-based selling, benefit selling. There are multiple names with which you can call this entire field selling. The important part here in this zone of selling is that you establish a dialogue, you establish a rapport, you come and become a partner. There is something that the customer will learn from you, gain from you. If you are not able to add value in this social zone, if you just go and canvas something and where the customer doesn't interact with you, he doesn't value what you are talking to him, it becomes more of a push that you are having. In this zone of selling, your ability to add value, give something to the customer becomes very, very important. So in the last many years that I've been selling in the pharma or doing sales training in pharma, the entire focus is about making people shift their selling style from just persuasion to more professional selling. And this professional selling, there is a module that I run and I audit sales reps calls, and there's a 9-point audit that I follow. And there is very clear definition in terms of setting an objective, in terms of what you're going to do on opening, what are you going to do in the body of the call, what is it that you're going to cover as far as the closing of the call is concerned. So your ability to build interaction is something that is very critical. This is a skill that we need to invest in. So what are the key factors that you do? What we realize that when we are in a social zone selling, most of the people, they continue to do that persuasive selling, and persuasive selling can be categorized by the fact that they enter the chamber, the salesman jumps quickly into the call and starts reminding the product, selling the product, or asking for prescriptions. Whereas in social zone selling, the first you need to spend good amount of time again building the rapport and building the human contact. So there are certain things that need to be done during the opening. Here you focus on building the relationship, focus on cashing on the relationship, differentiating, gaining attention of the customer. Then you move into the body of the call. In the body of the call, there are three dimensions that we look at. It's very, very critical in that in the body, apart from giving multiple features like we do in a can detailing or a brand persuasion where we are talking about all the features, it is very, very critical that you are able to select one particular feature, articulate that feature and go into the details of talking about that feature, justify that feature. Now justify is providing evidence, giving scientific background, explaining the basis of what you're trying to talk. So your ability to give proof for whatever you're trying to talk about. Pick up one feature and go into depths of giving the explaining or teaching that feature is something that is very critical in the body. After doing that, gain an agreement. So there's a whole concept of trial close that we come in. We ask whether what we are talk is making sense to a customer. So the whole approach to the social zone selling in the opening of the call, you are going to go across establishing confidence, cashing relationship and creating a differentiation, even giving a stroke to a customer. In the body of the call, you are going to give feature and then justify the feature and do a trial close. And very, very important that also do some benefit selling. Make a promise that this is what the patient benefits would be, this is what the physician you will get as a benefit by using this particular brand or making this brand your favorite brand. So there are three elements called the opening, body and close. Each of these three elements, you need to be able to do certain things proactively, very consciously. You are not going into an auto mode. Every place in the opening of the call, in the body of the call, in the closing of the call, there's a constant sense of interaction that you are having with the customer. You are trying to interact with the customer, gain his agreement, gain his attention, seek his opinion, ask certain questions, check, validate with him. This becomes a classical way of doing social zone sell. If you are able to do few of these 9 pointers and if you are able to build in an assertion in your call, the customer will accept your product, your service. You will stand out away from the crowd and you will be able to sell better. It is very, very critical that we follow these 9 pointers that I talk about in social zone selling. And when you are using any of these 9 pointers, when you are giving justification proof, it's evidence-based selling. When you detail out of a literature or you give some scientific background or you bring in proof, you call it the scientific selling. You are going and giving benefits of how the product will impact the customer. When you start talking about the benefits, it can be called benefit selling. So if you do this, move away from canned detailing or planned persuasion to a more interactive form of selling, then this selling is what I call is the professional selling or social zone selling that we will try and look at. One of the factors to be able to build and do a good social zone call, your knowledge about your product, your understanding about the therapy area or understanding about the disease area, you need to really master that. You need to really articulate and organize your content very well on that. So that's one thing, the knowledge about the products and the scientific background and your ability to justify and hold things stay strong. The second most important thing for doing good social zone selling is your ability to ask questions. There are various techniques that one can learn. Spin selling technique is one such technique that many people talk about, which helps you build your ability to question. If you want to make the customer talk, if you are making a shift from public zone selling to social zone selling, it's a shift from giving behavior to seeking behavior. If you want to increase or enhance your seeking behavior, you need to learn the art of questioning. So this art of questioning becomes a very, very important tool. So the second most important aspect that you need to invest on in helping you improve your social zone selling is your ability to ask questions. And the third point that I'm trying to talk about is your ability to give benefits. In social zone selling, you should be able to move on from giving just data to giving how the final impact looks. So your ability to give benefits, you have to tell stories. So I usually talk about that general selling, as far as you're giving features and justifying, it is the science of selling. and your ability to ask trial closes and give benefit selling is the art of closing. And your ability to build the art of giving benefits, you need to be a good storyteller. So you need to build in examples, tell in stories, talk about other customer experiences, talk about certain things that you know. So this story and experience telling becomes a very, very powerful tool. So like I'm summarizing, when we do social zone selling, we need to keep these 9 pointers that I talk about that help you become a more assertive, more professional seller. So you need to focus on seeking behavior in the opening. You need to go into the body of the call where you do feature justification, trial close and benefit selling. And finally you come into a closing of the call where you do assertive closing, display hunger for prescriptions and quantify your prescriptions. So these are a couple of points that need to be consciously achieved rather than doing just can detail. And in order to be able to do good social zone selling, you need to keep 3 things in mind. 1, be well prepared on your product knowledge and organize and articulate yourself on that. 2, build your ability to ask a lot of questions. And 3, you should be a good storyteller where you will be able to explain multiple examples of how this product has benefited people in the past. So I hope you all keep watching this, watching my videos. My next video, I will move on to talk about what are the strategies that one can use when the customer invites you into personal zone. Thank you for watching. God bless.